Ah, there you are. Well, I'm outside today because I'm going to be looking at capacity and volume, and that involves water. So in case of any spillages, I've decided to come outside, so it might be a good idea if you do the same. Now when we talk about capacity, I can see this jug is nearly filled to capacity. It means it's nearly full up. If I get this glass of water and fill it right to the top, you can say that is a full glass of water, and it is full to capacity. I'm going to try and pour it back in. You see what I mean? This is why I'm doing this one outside. So when we do measuring, we measured weights, we measured mass in grams, didn't we? And when we were measuring with a ruler, we were measuring in centimetres. Don't know if you can see them there. If I run my finger along, we've measured in centimetres. Now we measure water in millilitres. And if you have a look here, I've got half a litre, which is nearly where we're at here, but we're measuring these in millilitres. So if it came up to there, it would be 50 millilitres, that's 100 millilitres, that's 150 millilitres, and so on. There are actually 1,000 millilitres in a litre, and this bottle of lemonade, it says here, can you see it? 2 litres. So this is what 2 litres looks like. But normally, when you get a little measuring jug like this only goes up to half a litre. Can you see at the top it says half a litre? So I've got nearly half a litre of water in there. Now what's really important when we're looking at capacity is knowing the difference between full, almost full, half full, almost empty and empty. So I'm going to show you what those look like. Now we've looked at full. I'll do that full for you again. So this is what we mean by full. It means it is right to the top. Can I get it right to the top without spilling? I think that's about full. So this is what we mean by full. I'm going to pour this back inside. Now, this is almost full, because as you can see it's nearly at the top but it's not quite, and normally when we get a drink of water or a drink of orange juice we normally have an almost full, because if we had a full one it would spill everywhere, wouldn't it? A bit like I've just done. So if I pour a bit more back in, this is, I would say that's about half full. So that's what half full looks like. Now we're going to go past half full to almost empty. So this is almost empty, so there's a little bit in it. And this is empty, because there is nothing left. So, let's see if you can remember which one's which. So I'm going to pour the glass, and I want you to pause the video and tell your grown-up whether you think the glass is full, almost full, half full, almost empty, or empty. So let's have a look. So here is my first one. So, do you think the glass is full, almost full, half full, almost empty, or empty? So it's time to pause and tell your grown-up. Pause. Well, this one is almost empty. Let's try another one, shall we? Right, there we go. So what about this one? Is this full, almost full, half full, almost empty, or empty? What do you think? Pause and tell your grown-up. Pause. Well, this one is full, isn't it? Because it is right to the top. Oops. What about this one then? To put it there, move that one out of the way. Is this full, almost full, half full, almost empty, or empty? Pause. Well, this one is almost full, isn't it? Because it's nearly to the top. Let's try another one. What about that one then? I think I might have to put a little bit more in. So is this full, almost full, half full, almost empty, or empty? Pause. Well, this one is half full, isn't it? And let's do one more, shall we? What about this one then? Is it full, almost full, half full, almost empty, or empty. What do you think about that one? Pause. So, this one is empty. Nothing in it. So, this is what capacity means. Is it how full is it? Full to capacity, or is it almost full, half full, almost empty, or empty? Now, when I use the word volume, I don't mean how loud the music is. It's not that kind of volume. What volume is, it's how we measure in millilitres. And we're going to be looking at these to measure in millilitres. Now, if you want a bit of practice on capacity and volume, I put some worksheets on the website under the tic-tac-toe grid for this week, and I'll also put them on the maths page as well under other subjects, and you can have a practice at looking at capacity and volume. There's 2 worksheets I'm going to put on there which will be really useful. Now, if you don't have a printer, don't worry, because you can have the worksheets on your computer and do it as a practical exercise and try and write some of them down in the book. I think that would be really useful. Now, that's a good task to start with. Another task we could do is looking at millilitres and measuring in millilitres. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour some of this in here and see if we can measure, see how many millilitres this is. Can you see? So, we're past 50, we're up to about there. I want you to pause the video and tell your grown-up how many millilitres you think that is. Pause. So, as we can see, we've gone 50, 100, 150, this is 200 millilitres. Should we have another go? In fact, I think I've filled that jug. Let's pour some into the glass. Pour a bit more in. This is how tricky this can be. So, how many millilitres have we got here? Can you pause and tell your grown-up? Pause. So as we can see, this is 100 millilitres. Let's try one more. In fact, I'll pour some in actually. Right, can you tell how many millilitres? So ignore this part here, we're just looking at this bit here. How many millilitres have we got there? Pause. Well, as it's a bit tricky when you've got the water line here, but this is where we're looking to measure. We can see this is 400 millilitres. And a good task you can do with your grown-up, if you've got a jug like this, is get them to pour in some different amounts and see if you can guess how many millilitres it is. Now, sometimes different jugs will have different amounts depending on how big they are, but it's really good practice because we do look at millilitres a lot in year 2. But for year 1, what's really, really important is to know the difference between full, almost full, half full, almost empty and empty. So that's where the worksheets will be good practice. So good luck with that, and try not to get water everywhere if you're doing it practical. That's why I've come outdoors. Outdoor is the best place to do this. I did capacity and volume with year 2 a few years ago, and we could have had a swimming lesson at the same time. So good luck.